This quick guide is designed to give you a tour of Microsoft 365. So we're assuming you're going through the school website, selecting Portals, then Student, and then scrolling down and selecting our shortcut for Microsoft 365. Enter your username, and then when it identifies that you're an NKS student, type in your password. If like this is a brand new machine, you'll be provided with a number to enter into your Authenticator app. See video 2 in the playlist if you haven't set up your authentication yet. Finally, encourage 365 not to ask you for your password for some time. And once you're done, you should land on the Microsoft 365 search page, which may look something like this. If you want to search for a file in your Microsoft 365, you can't remember quite what it's called, you can search for either part of the name or part of the content using this search box at the top. Their own recommended files that you have access to, including things like email attachments, will be listed next, followed by the quick access list, which shows recent documents, or documents that have been shared with you, or documents that you've marked as favourites. It's a good idea if you're working on something for a period of time to add a document to your favourites and ticking off favourite. And this works on any file, anywhere in Microsoft 365. If you've got a document locally on your computer that you want to add to Microsoft 365, there's an upload option on the right. You can select the file and it'll be uploaded, but there's easier ways, which I'll show you in a few moments. Down in the bottom left, you'll see your name. This one's obviously been blurred out. And if you press the 3-dot menu here, you can select your settings. You can decide on the appearance of apps, light mode, dark mode, and so on, and you can also check your privacy settings. Now this is where you can adjust your password. If you select Manage Privacy Settings, this gives you general information about your account, including, for example, the language settings, display format for dates, and so on and so forth. And if you're studying a language like Spanish, you can add that to your preferred languages, so that if you're typing Spanish in one of the Microsoft 365 apps, it's not going to mark those as incorrectly spelled. The most likely thing you'll do here, though, is want to change your password. And you'll be sometimes challenged here to type your old password, but if you've logged in recently enough on the computer, then you'll only be required to type in your new password twice and then submit. Now if you've got access to your 365 on a computer, but for example your mobile phone has been lost and you need to set up Authenticator again, you can delete your Authenticator app settings at this point, so you can set up Authenticator afresh on your new mobile as if you've never set it up. Now back to the Microsoft homepage, and one of the first things you'll want to do is to populate the apps down the left hand side in this little panel. It looks a bit empty at the moment. So if you press the apps button, all of the apps that you have a license to use, you can press the All Apps button to give yourself an alphabetical full list. But for the most part, the ones shown here are the ones that you're going to want to add. So Outlook is obviously your email and calendar app, so you want to add that to your list by clicking the 3-dot menu and selecting Pin. And that then immediately appears in this list over here on the left. So I'm going to add OneDrive, which is access to my files, followed by Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote. So this means when you land on your home page, you can just click straight through to the app you want. And this shows an early September 2025 inbox for a Year 11 student. Click on an individual message to view a little tick that you can use for ticking multiple messages, for example to delete a series of messages. And a message will appear bold or coloured here like this if it hasn't been read. So to mark it as read, you can press this little envelope, even if you don't open the message. If you need to do something with the email in the future, you can flag it for follow-up. And if you flagged a series of messages and then you get to a point where you want to deal with those, you can use the filter at the top to, for example, show you all the messages that are flagged or all the messages that are unread. So it's a great way to organise things that you need to deal with later. If you have a really important message that you're going to need to keep dealing with in the next couple of days or weeks or whatever, you can pin it to the top. Pressing the push pin will mean that the message will always appear at the top of Outlook. To create a new email, just press New Email, and a fresh empty email form will appear. Type in as much of the name of the person that you want to email as possible, and it will give you a search list from which you can select the recipient. Enter a sensible, polite and short subject, and always write emails like a little mini letter. And if you want to send the message straight away, just hit send, but you can also schedule the send of the message, exactly when the message will be dispatched from your inbox. OneDrive is your file store. Some suggested files at the top, and a recent file list below, which obviously is blurred out because these are real students' files, but you can filter by the type of file you're searching for to make it easier to locate the recent document you want to access. In the left-hand panel, second option, My Files, shows you a direct file view and the individual files in alphanumeric order. Up on the top left, you've got a button to upload files or to create new things, including creating additional folders, but you can upload an individual file or upload an entire local folder of files to your OneDrive. On most devices that allow access to multiple windows, you can drag and drop files directly from something like Windows File Explorer here, directly into a OneDrive folder. And that file will be uploaded using your current internet connection and appear immediately in that folder. As we saw before, the little three-dot menu allows you to do things to the file, for example, open it, share it with other users. Be very careful with who you share it with. If you click the share dialog, you can directly enter school users that you wish to share a file with. And this little drop down on the right allows you to select whether they can edit the file or the default, which is they can just view it. So if you do want to share a document for somebody else to edit, you need to switch it to Can Edit. And you can also make the view option slightly more strict in that they can't download the file as well. So you can enter the person's name, put a message in if you wish to, and that will generate an email to them, or you can simply copy the link and compose your own email. If you've already shared a file with somebody, you can use Manage Access to remove access to a file if, for example, you accidentally shared a document you shouldn't have. This allows you to press a single button to stop sharing the file altogether, or you can go to individual people, individual groups, or individual links that you've created and remove them. So now you'll notice that this file is no longer shared. Delete's pretty obvious. You can add a file to your favourites, move it to another folder, copy it to another folder. One of the great advantages of having files on SharePoint is the version history. Now this document's only just been uploaded, so it doesn't have much of a version history, but if you continually edit a document, you can at any stage go and open an older version of an existing document. A really useful feature if you accidentally deleted something from a file several weeks before. Word, Excel, PowerPoint and OneNote work virtually the same as the desktop apps with slightly fewer features. Any of these apps have the file name up in the top left hand corner. You just click the file name, you'll get a little drop down to show what the name of the file is. If it's a default name like document 7, you'll want to change that to something more sensible, and you can also change the location, move it up here to another folder, and also direct access to the version history of that document. Documents will be automatically saved as they're changed, as you can see here. You can be fairly certain the stuff you've just done has been saved. Over here on the right, you've got another access to the sharing options, and you've also got the ability to change your editing mode. So you can switch into viewing mode even for a document that you have access to edit. And for all of the main apps, if you have the local version installed on your computer, you can click to open that document in the local version of Word. And finally, once you've signed into Microsoft 365 on your computer or tablet or whatever the case may be, that's the method used, of course, for signing into apps like Satchel 1 and also other apps like Caboodle, Century. And so where you see the option to sign in with Microsoft or sign in with Office 365, always click that option to check that works first.